he's the best guy pound for pound out there. He's done things nobody else has done. He's just a beast, and still just comes up all the time. He doesn't even need that steroids. He doesn't even need that in him. He's still the best guy out there.
John might take him down and ragdoll him on the ground, like, you know.
John easily could, because we don't know how good John is either.
And we also don't know what happens to Tom Aspinall in the 3rd, 4th, and 5th rounds.
He's
we have zero
because no one's gotten there.
No one's even gotten close.
Potentially, but the way that I look at it is he has failed a couple of drug tests. To me, that rules you out of being the best of all time.
Really?
For me personally, yeah, I think.
Does it make him a cheat?
Yeah, of course it does.
Alexander Gustafsson criticized John Jones for his history with steroids, but admitted Jones didn't need them to be the best. Joe Rogan also discussed the much-awaited and potential John Jones versus Tom Aspinall fight, breaking down how the matchup could unfold. Alexander Gustafsson acknowledged John Jones's greatness and said he doesn't need steroids to be the best. Gustafsson pointed out that despite some bad decisions and repeated controversies, Jones is still the top pound-for-pound fighter and has accomplished things no one else has. He emphasized that Jones's talent alone makes him a beast in the sport. Joe Rogan agreed, adding that he didn't believe Jones intentionally took anything and said the sport needs a fighter like him.
He's been in that same situation a couple of times. This is not the first time, so you know, it's just,
well, he definitely is a wild.
He is. He is.
He definitely does. Probably shouldn't do, but
yeah, 100%, man.
But I mean,
but the thing is, it's so stupid because he's what it is. He's the best guy pound for pound out there. He's done things nobody else has done. He's just a beast, and still just comes up all the time. He doesn't even need that steroids. He doesn't even need that in him. He's still the best guy out there.
I don't think he took anything. I really don't, but I agree with you on that.
Tom Aspinall also talked about the steroid case of John Jones and refused to call him the GOAT because of it. Aspinall admitted that John Jones is an elite fighter, but firmly said he is not the greatest. In Tom's view, failing drug tests removes you from the GOAT conversation. He explained that using performance-enhancing drugs is straight up cheating if your opponent is clean. Even though Tom said he doesn't believe John was specifically on steroids, PEDs are still PEDs and they give an unfair advantage. For Tom, true greatness isn't just about winning, it's about winning the right way.
John, let me first start by saying John is absolutely elite, and I completely agree with the notion that he's one of the best fighters ever.
Is he the greatest?
Potentially, but the way that I look at it is he has failed a couple of drug tests. To me, that rules you out of being the best of all time.
Really?
For me personally, yeah, I think.
Does it make him a cheat?
Yeah, of course it does. Yeah. If you're on steroids or whatever, I don't think he was on steroids, but he was on PEDs, performance enhancing drugs. If you're on PEDs and your opponent isn't, that's absolutely cheating in my book, unless you're both allowed to do it.
Tom Aspinall says he's never taken anything and never would. He explained that after retirement, he might consider testosterone replacement for health reasons, but while competing, he believes PEDs have no place in MMA. If John Jones is clean now, Tom is fine with fighting him. However, he admitted he's unsure how John will react to being called a cheat, noting that John can be a bit sensitive about things like that.
You've never taken anything like that?
Absolutely not.
No. You never would?
When I retire, I will, yeah. Absolutely, to keep my body healthy, and you know, your body stops producing testosterone after a while. To be a healthy older gentleman, I'll probably do some kind of testosterone replacement.
You're suggesting I should be pumping the steroids?
So. No, I don't think you should be on steroids, but I think, I don't know a lot about the subject, to be honest, but I think when you fight in MMA, you absolutely shouldn't be using PEDs, no.
So should he even be allowed to fight you?
Yeah, if he's not using them now, yeah. Yeah, I think so, yeah, absolutely.
How do you think he'll feel when he sees you calling him a cheat on Uncensored?
I don't know. That's his
Do you
prerogative.
Care?
No, I'm not bothered. John Jones seems to get his feelings hurt a little bit.
Meanwhile, Joe Rogan also talked about John Jones versus Tom Aspinall matchup and warned Jones about Aspinall's speed. He explained that Tom is significantly faster than every other heavyweight, which makes him a real problem, while Rogan acknowledged that Jones is used to fast opponents like Alexander Gustafsson and Lyoto Machida from his light heavyweight days. He pointed out that getting caught by a 255-pound Tom Aspinall is a completely different challenge. Rogan also praised Jones for staying at the top of the sport across two different eras.
Aspinall's a freak. Like, I've seen a lot of heavyweight, even Francis, who's like the greatest, scariest power striker I've ever seen in the heavyweight division. No one's scarier than Francis. Francis does not move like Tom Aspinall. Tom Aspinall is significantly faster than every other heavyweight. That's a real problem. But John has been used to fighting guys like Alexander Gustafsson, guys who are really fast at light heavyweight. So the speed is not going to be as much of an adjustment. Like, John's used to really fast people. He fought Lyoto Machida when Machida was in his prime. Machida was a lightning bolt, man. And he caught John a bunch of times. But then there's the thing of getting caught by Lyoto Machida is not like getting caught by 255-pound Tom Aspinall.
Joe Rogan further acknowledged Jon Jones's greatness, emphasizing that even at this stage of his career, he cannot be underestimated. Rogan stressed that Jones could still dominate with his wrestling and experience, reminding everyone that despite the questions around him, he remains one of the most dangerous fighters ever.
See, I think pound for pound, and we won't ever find out. I think Tom Aspinall's the best. I think Tom,
who knows?
I think Tom beats him.
Who knows if John beats him? John might beat him up.
Yeah, he could.
John might take him down and fucking ragdoll him on the ground, like, you know.
John easily could, because we don't know how good John is either.
And we also don't know what happens to Tom Aspinall in the 3rd, 4th, and 5th rounds.
He's
we have zero
because no one's gotten there.
No one's even gotten close.
There's so many question marks. Like, we don't know how good John is.
Right.
You can't tell me John's the best of all time, or he is the best GOAT, but you can't tell me he's the baddest heavyweight on the planet.
On the other hand, Jon Jones made it clear he isn't interested in fighting Tom Aspinall, saying he doesn't like him and finds him annoying. While he understands that fans might find Aspinall entertaining, Jones made it clear he simply doesn't like him.
He's annoying to me. And that's my own personal, he annoys me. I get to you guys, you find it entertaining, but I find him annoying. And I just don't like him.
However, Dana White is confident that this fight will happen. He once again made it clear that Jon Jones versus Tom Aspinall is the fight the UFC is working toward. Addressing the recent back and forth reports, White said, "Everything you hear is until we say it." He confirmed that both fighters are still targeted for the matchup and emphasized that this is the fight the promotion wants to make happen this year. When asked if he remained as confident as he was at the start of the year, White replied, "Still super confident."
Is obviously John versus Tom Aspinall. This week was a funny one. Someone reported that the fight's done, it's got a date, then the next day someone reported the fight's off, and then John's not taking it. Where do we stand with that fight?
Everything you hear is until we say it.
So that fight is still the target for both men?
I've said it many times that's the fight that we want to make this year. Yeah.
At the beginning of the year, you said you were super confident. It's definitely going to happen. Are you still super confident?
Still super confident.
The UFC legend Chael Sonnen also clarified that both fighters already agreed upon the Jon Jones versus Tom Aspinall clash. Contrary to what the media reported, Sonnen said Jon Jones never backed down or refused the fight. Jones mentioned he would negotiate for $30 million, but according to Sonnen, Jones never flinched or hesitated once the talks began. The only delay is that the company hasn't finalized a date yet.
2025. Jones and Aspinall is not going to be announced soon. Yes, Jones and Aspinall is done. It's actually contrary to the media. The athletes have agreed. It's the company doesn't have a date yet. The athletes. Jon Jones never backed down from that fight. That is not accurate. That was misreported. Jon Jones never said no to that fight. He talked about he was going to negotiate. He needed $30 million. He never got the phone call where he flinched, just so you know.
Chael Sonnen further said that Jon Jones has never ducked Tom Aspinall. He's confident that Jon Jones versus Tom Aspinall is done and fully agreed on. He explained that everything lines up perfectly for International Fight Week. Although he originally thought they might return to New York, Sonnen emphasized that despite Jon Jones saying different things publicly, negotiating through the media, and trolling, when it comes to the real phone call offering the fight, Jones always says yes. Any other reports suggesting otherwise are simply not true.
No, I am confident enough to tell you that fight is done, though. That fight is agreed all the way down to the date. International Fight Week would make perfect sense. I personally, just in my heart, I always thought they were going to go back to New York.
Jones said he needs 4 months. Now you're going to do it
I'm telling you, this Jon Jones business, Jones will say a lot of things to the media. When he gets that phone call, here's the guy you're fighting. Do you understand? Yes. And that is what he will say. All the other reports are not true. John has come out. He's been a troll. He's had some fun. He even tried to negotiate in the media. Privately, he takes that phone call. It's yes or anything else that comes out of his mouth. Any answer that's not yes is not yes. But that did not happen. That is a false report. Jon Jones has not ducked this fight. I wish he did. I'd love to bury him. He didn't. He did not duck Tom Aspinall.
However, Aspinall believes John Jones is ducking him. When asked about it, he didn't hesitate to confirm his thoughts, saying yes. Aspinall explained that Jones is choosing an easier path, with bigger fights offering more money and less risk. While he understands Jones's reasoning, he remains firm in his belief that Jones is avoiding the challenge he presents.
Do you think John is ducking you?
Yes.
Was that
I
Tom?
do. I think I said, yeah, he is. He definitely is. I think that there's just an easier path for him, and I understand it. I do understand it completely. I understand that there's bigger fights out there for him with way less risk and way more money. I understand it. But in all honesty, do I think he's ducking me? Absolutely.
John Jones dismissed Tom Aspinall's rise, saying, "You're beating guys who aren't even champions, and you consider yourself a champion." He went on to compare Aspinall to fighters like OSP, Dominic Reyes, and Anthony Smith, suggesting that he was just another up-and-coming fighter with no real title experience. Jones emphasized that he's not interested in gambling his legacy on something merely exciting, implying that Aspinall doesn't yet pose the challenge he deems worthy of risking his status.
You're beating guys who aren't even champions and you consider yourself a champion. He's not a champion. Aspinall to me is no difference than an Owen St. Prude or Dominic Reyes or Anthony Smith. He's like just another up-and-comer that's exciting right now. And I'm not into gambling my legacy for what's exciting.
Tom Aspinall responded to John Jones's comments, saying that while Jones claimed he needed to fight more champions, the real issue was that Jones, the current champion, was refusing to face him. Aspinall pointed out that Jones's excuse about the fight being too risky made it seem like Jones was afraid of losing to him. He felt that Jones was avoiding the matchup rather than genuinely considering the risk.
So John said I need to fight more champions, but this is the problem I've got. John is the champion and he won't fight me. And he says that he won't fight me because it's too much of a gamble. And John, if you're not into gambling your legacy, that to me sounds like you're scared of losing against me.
Despite such statements, Dana White still backed John Jones, saying that behind the scenes, Jones is not the type of fighter who turns down fights. When asked if he could guarantee 100% that the John Jones versus Tom Aspinall fight would happen, White didn't hesitate and said, "Yeah, I'll say 100%.
But other than that, John Jones behind the scene is not a guy that turns down fights.
Would you guarantee 100% we see that fight?
Yeah. I'll say 100%.
Furthermore, UFC legend Michael Bisping also discussed Tom Aspinall as a serious threat to John Jones, calling him the greatest mixed martial artist the sport has ever seen. He believes Aspinall represents the new breed of fighter and is the future of the sport. While acknowledging John Jones' undeniable greatness and unbeaten record, Bisping pointed out that every fighter eventually meets their match, and in his opinion, Aspinall is that match. He emphasized Aspinall's exceptional speed, agility, and technical skills, which set him apart from most heavyweights who are typically strong and powerful but lack the same finesse.
John Jones versus Tom Aspinall. I've actually had Tom Aspinall on the channel. And Tom's a small favourite, isn't he?
Yeah, no, and he should be. He should be. Listen, John Jones is great, and you can't deny what he's done in the octagon, the career that he's had, and he's technically unbeaten. However, everyone meets their match eventually. And I think Tom Aspinall's the new generation. He's the new breed. And he'll go down probably as the greatest mixed martial artist that we've ever had. He's elite as a heavyweight. A lot of the heavyweights, they're good, they're very strong, they're powerful, but they're not as quick and as agile and as technical as Tom.
Michael Bisping described Tom Aspinall as the whole package, comparing him to a heavyweight version of George St. Pierre. He praised Aspinall's knockout power, agility, and quick finishes. However, Bisping noted that Aspinall hasn't faced someone like John Jones yet, as the heavyweight division lacks the same level of technical skill. While Jones has fought tougher opponents, Bisping highlighted that Jones has never faced a fighter like Aspinall, with his size and power.
Tom's the whole package. He's like, there's a fighter called George St. Pierre, who's one of the greatest to ever do it. Tom's like a heavyweight George St. Pierre. He's got no weak areas. He's got absolute knockout power, super disciplined, super agile on the feet. He finishes everyone really, really quickly. However, he hasn't gone up against somebody like John Jones because, as I said, the competition in the heavyweight division isn't necessarily there on a technical level. John Jones is. And John Jones has fought way better competition than Tom. That's just a fact. But John's never fought anyone like Tom either. John has never fought anyone the size of Tom, and that can generate that kind of power.
John Anake said he believes the Jon Jones versus Tom Aspinall fight will happen this year, likely in the 3rd or 4th quarter. He predicted December in Las Vegas as the most likely time frame, but admitted he hopes it happens sooner for Aspinall's sake. Anake also commented that while Jon Jones appeared to be in good shape when he saw him recently, he joked that a shaved head can make anyone look a bit leaner.
So Tom Aspinall-Jon Jones fight actually happening this year?
I do think it's going to happen this year. I think it's going to be 3rd or 4th quarter. Right, if you were to say, is it going to happen before Labor Day, that first weekend of September? I don't know. You know, I think December in Las Vegas would be my prediction, but I hope it happens sooner than that for Tommy Aspinall. You know, Jon Jones seemed to be in pretty good shape when I saw him. Now, I've been shaving my head for years to try to look thinner, whether it's on television or otherwise. So when Jon Jones has the shaved head, you know, you're going to look like you're in maybe a little bit better shape than you're actually in.
John Anake added that he doesn't believe the fight will be at Madison Square Garden again, predicting Las Vegas instead. Based on UFC's usual schedule, he suggested September or December as likely dates, but admitted it was just professional speculation, joking that he's just a professional fan like Joe Rogan.
I don't know. I don't know that it's going to be Madison Square Garden again. I think it's going to be Las Vegas. And that's why I'm sort of thinking September or December, just based upon past years. But as you know, nothing informed about my speculation. We're just a professional fan. Just a pro fan, as Rogan likes to say.
Stipe Miocic also talked about this fight and stressed the importance of patience for Tom Aspinall when facing Jon Jones. He pointed out that Jones is skilled at capitalizing on mistakes and warned against rushing into the fight too aggressively. Miocic urged Aspinall to stay disciplined, wait for the right moments, and maintain a strategic approach, as taking on a seasoned veteran like Jones demands a well-thought-out game plan.
If that matchup does get booked with him and Jon Jones, what's the best advice you'd give Tom Aspinall?
Don't do what I did.
Avoid the liver shot.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, what are you gonna do? But I think Tommy, that guy, he's super tough and he hits hard. He moves well. He's a big man. I think that he stays calm on the situation, and whatever happens, he just stays calm. I think he'll be fine. He pitches shots. He's smart what he does, and I think he'll do fine.
The UFC welterweight champion Bilal Muhammad believes Tom Aspinall would be Jon Jones's toughest challenge, a stronger, faster fighter from the new generation. While he thinks Jones could win, it would only be worth it if the payday is huge. Bilal expects Dana White to make the fight happen due to its financial potential, but Jones, with nothing left to prove, would likely prefer a fight with Alex Pereira first, unless the payday is between $30 to $50 million.
If I'm Jon Jones, a lot of people consider him the GOAT, the best fighter ever do it. The next hungry lion is Aspinall. It's probably the toughest fight that he'll have. This guy's the next generation. He's a lot stronger, a lot faster. But I think Jon Jones is good enough to beat him. But it's it has to be worth it. The fans are fickle, right? You lose one fight, they're going to, he sucks. Right? They just care about your last win or your last loss. I think Dana White and them will end up making it. Dana White's a smart businessman. He knows how much money that fight would make. If I'm Jon Jones, you've already done everything in the sport. It's not worth it unless it's that $30 million, $50 million payday. If I'm Jon Jones, I'm picking out Pereira first over Aspinall.
Former light heavyweight champion Alex Pereira weighed in on a potential fight between Jon Jones and Tom Aspinall, emphasizing Jones's vast experience as the key factor. Despite questions about Jones's recent activity, Pereira believes that experience is what truly matters. He views Jones as a seasoned veteran who has faced every challenge, and because of this, Pereira predicts Jones would come out on top in a matchup with Aspinall.
Eu acho que ganha. I think Jon Jones have a lot of experience on his side. Some people say Aspinall this, Aspinall that, but it comes down to experience. Jon Jones is a seasoned guy. He been there, so I think he wins.
So the stage is set, the tension is building, and the debate is intensifying. Jon Jones versus Tom Aspinall has become one of the most anticipated matchups that hasn't taken place yet. With legends chiming in and both fighters' legacies on the line, the MMA world is on edge. Whether it's about proving greatness, securing a massive payday, or defending pride, one thing is certain: this fight could define a new chapter in the sport. Will it happen? Only time and the UFC will decide.